Hare Krishna. So we are going to begin our reading from Baala Kanda, chapter 3. So before we begin, let's start with the prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Nitinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pricharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So let us all pray to Lord Ramachandra to give his blessings on all of us so that we can read the Adhyatma Ramayana with full faith and devotion. So today we are going to see the birth of Lord Ramachandra and his childhood pastimes. Lokabhiramam pranaram khadiram rajivanetram raghuvam shanatam कारुण्यरूपं करुणाकरन्तं श्रीरामचन्द्रं शरणं प्रपद्ये. So Baala Kanda, chapter 3, Sri Rama's birth and childhood. Lord Shiva resumed his narration. Once King Dasharatha, who was world famed, truthful, Lord of Ayodhya, and was most brave, felt very sad that he had no sons and called his clan's moral preceptor Guru Vashishta, bowed his head to him and said, O Lord, please tell me by which method can I get sons who have all the auspicious and noble virtues in them? Because without sons, this kingdom appears sorrowful and tormenting for me. Then Guru Vashishta said to King Dasharatha, You shall be blessed by 4 sons who would be most able and potent, like the 4 Lokapalakas personified themselves. You should soon invite Shanta's husband, Shringi Rishi, and together with me, you should perform the son-begetting fire sacrifice. So we know that Shanta is none other than the daughter of Dasharatha. So Dasharatha had a daughter earlier, and her name is Shanta. She was what to say uh, adopted by another great king. I forget his name. So who was a very close friend of King Dasharatha. So and then Shanta was married off to Shringa. Sorry, Shringi Rishi. Yes. The king said, All right, and invited sage Shringi. Then he purified himself and, accompanied by his ministers, he started the special purpose sacrifice with the help of holy and noble sages and seers. At that time, when holy offerings were being offered to the religious fire with due reverence and honor during the sacrificial ritual, the fire god, who was radiant like molten gold, appeared with rice pudding in a golden vessel and said, O king, take this holy and marvelous pudding made by gods, which has the potent of providing sons. With the help of this, you can without doubt beget the Supreme Lord in the form of your sons. Having advised thus and giving the pudding to the king, the fire god disappeared from the sight. Thereafter, the king felt extremely content and fulfilled in his endeavor, worshipped the feet of his guru Vashishta and the guest sage Shringi, both of whom were like lions among their peers, and on their orders he distributed the pudding equally with great care between his queens Kausalya and Kaikeyi. Then Queen Sumitra also reached there, desiring to have a share in the son to be bestowed. bestowing divine pudding. At this, Kausalya gladly gave her half of her own share, and Kaikeyi too did the same from her share. In this manner, all the queens conceived. Those three queens began to look as magnificent as gods due to their radiance in that royal palace. Then, in the 10th month, Kausalya gave birth to a most spectacular, majestic, and mysterious son. In the month of Chaitra, during the 9th day of the waxing phase of the moon, in the zodiac sign of Cancer, and in the constellation of stars called Punarvasu, when the five planets were ascendant and the sun was in the zodiac sign of Aries, then the eternal, absolute, formless, and attributeless Supreme Lord, who is the Lord of the universe, made his appearance. At that time, the sky was overcast by a hail of resplendent and vibrant, blooming and fragrant flowers. He was dark complexioned like a blue lotus, wore a pitambar, and had four arms. His eyes looked adornable and magnificent like a red lotus. The ears were adorned with radiant earrings. His radiant glow was like thousands of splendorous luminescent suns. There was a bright crown and curly locks of hair on his head, while each of his four hands had a conch, a disc, a mace, and a lotus, respectively, whereas a garland having five colors adorned his neck. The smile of his lotus-like face resembled the pleasant moonlight emanating and spreading from the symbolic moon residing in his heart. His merciful and compassionate eyes were as large as the moon, and he was adorned by ornaments such as the footprint of sage brigu and a garland. He also wore armlets, bracelets, and anklets on his body. Seeing such a stupendously beautiful and magnificent Supreme Lord manifest himself as a son, Kausalya was stunned and dumbfounded. Her eyes were filled with tears of joy, and folding her hands in prayerful submission, she said, Kausalya said, O Lord of Lords, I pay my respects and obeisances to you. O the bearer of conch, disc, and mace, you are an eternal, imperishable, endless, supreme soul, the Paramatma, and you are perfectly complete Purushottama. Those who are experts and most proficient in the Vedas say that you are not the subject matter of the mind, intellect, and speech. You are beyond the grasp and reach of the sense organs. You are the most powerful authority and the only and complete embodiment of jnana. You create, sustain, and annihilate this universe by using your Maya, which is empowered by the three gunas, Sattva, Rajo, and Tama, although you always remain in a uniform state of Turiya. Okay. The Turiya state is the fourth state of consciousness, symbolizing supreme bliss, peace, and tranquility. You are not the doer, though you appear to do so. You do not walk, though you seem to. You do not listen, but appear to do so, and you do not see, in spite of the illusion of doing so. Even the Vedas assert that you are without life, and mind or intellect are complex and are most pure. You live uniformly in all the creatures as the supreme soul, though you are not visible by those whose innermost is covered by a dark sheet of ignorance. You are recognized, perceived, experienced by those persons only who are wise and enlightened. O Lord, numerous universes appear minuscule like atoms in your stomach, but your grace and munificence towards your devotees is evident from the fact that you credit me with giving you birth from my womb. Being under the sway of your delusory powers, I was submerged in the mundane ocean of illusory husband, son, and wealth. But today, I have come to take shelter in your lotus like holy and divine feet due to my great fortune. O Lord, let your stupendously beautiful and most attractive, charming, and enrapturing image always reside in my heart. And bless me that your Maya, which shackles this whole world, does not affect me. O the soul of the universe, please bring to an end the supernatural image of yours and instead assume the pleasant, joy giving form of a child, by whose happy and cheerful embrace and childish talks I shall cross the dense forest of darkness due to my ignorance. The Lord said, O mother, whatever you wish, so shall it be. Nothing should be against it. Earlier, Brahma had prayed to me to remove the burden of this earth. Hence, I have taken a human form to slay the demon Ravana and others of us like, O the blameless one, you too had worshipped me and done severe penances and had observed austerities along with Dasharatha with the combined wish to have me as your son. I have fulfilled your wish now by appearing as an incarnation. You have seen this majestic and splendorous image of me due to the good effects of those penances and austerities. My divine vision bestows emancipation and salvation. Those who lack auspiciousness and goodness have the greatest of difficulties in having my divine sight. Those persons who read or listen to this conversation between us shall attain oneness with me, and he shall remember me at the time of his death. Jai. Having said this, the Lord became a child and began to cry. His childish form was also dark complexioned like the Indranilamani and had large eyes and was most beautiful. It was red hued and splendorous like the early morning young sun. The Lord provided immense joy and delight to all the Lokapalakas by manifesting himself as a most attractive child. Thereafter, when King Dasharatha heard about the ceremonial arrival of his son, he appeared to be drowned in an ocean of delight, happiness, and exhilaration, and he went to the royal residence along with his guru Vashishta. Reaching inside the palace, he saw the lotus-eyed Sri Rama and was drenched with tears of joy and bliss. He got his guru to perform the various rituals and sacraments associated with childbirth. Thereafter, Bharata was born to the lotus-eyed Kaikeyi, while Sumitra gave birth to twins whose face resembles the full moon, who were as beautiful as the Ashwini Kumaras. At that time, King Dasharatha enthusiastically gave away hundreds of village, a lot of gold, numerous gems, various types of robes and garments, and countless cows with auspicious characters and signs to Brahmanas as charity. He, in whom the sages and seers dwell, after having destroyed their darkness of ignorance with the light of wisdom and discrimination, and who attracts the intellect, heart, and mind of his devotees by his stupendous charm and beauty, was named Ram by his guru Vashishta. Similarly, the second son was named Bharata because he would be the nourisher, sustainer, caretaker of the whole world. The third son was named Lakshmana because he was endowed with all the virtues of goodness, character, and auspiciousness, while the fourth son was called Shatrughan, as he would be the vanquisher of all the enemies or opponents in this world. By virtue of the share given by Kausalya and Kaikeyi from the rice pudding to Sumitra, Lakshmana followed Sri Rama and Shatrughna followed Bharata respectively. So those were the two shares. The share by Kausalya, uh, because of which she gave birth, Sumitra gave birth to Lakshmana, who follows Ramachandra, and because of the share given by Kaikeyi, the son of Sumitra, Shatrughna, followed Bharata. Beautiful. Roaming and frolicking around along with Lakshmana, Sri Rama gave immense joy to his parents by his childhood playful pastimes, mischievous efforts, and innocent childish talks. His forehead was adorned by a radiant gold encrusted leaf of the peepal tree, decorated by pearls, while the neck was adorned with intertwined strings intertwined strings decorated the gems and jewels, and having lion's nails at intervals. Ornaments of gold studded with jewels, which resemble raw fruits of the Arjuna tree, were dangling from his ears, while gem-studded tinkling anklets golden waistband, and bracelets adorned his body. King Dasharatha and Mother Kausalya were greatly exhilarated and delighted on seeing the child, whose radiance was like the hue of the Indranilamani, and whose face was adorned by a few toothed smile, running around the palace courtyard behind a calf with a childlike staggering gait. When the king sat down for his meals, he most cheerfully and affectionately called Sri Rama, saying, Rama, come here. When the child did not come, the king would ask Kausalya to go and fetch him. But he, who was the only refuge or shelter for the mind, intellect of yogis, could not be caught by the mother who was laughing and running behind him. He would himself come to Dasharatha with hands besmeared with dirt and slush, took one or two morsels of food, and again ran away. Mother Kausalya used to dress Sri Rama in different attires, made various types of sweet dishes every month, and celebrated. And especially on his birthday, she made various delicacies and celebrated the occasion with pomp and pageantry. Due to the restiveness and the mischief created by the child Rama, Kausalya had stopped attending to her routine household chores. One day, Sri Rama went to his mother and said, Oh, mother, give me something to eat. But she did not pay attention because of preoccupation with some work. Then the child got so furious that he broke all the pots and pans with a stick. Oh, this is like the Damodar Leela, where Krishna breaks all the pots because Mother Yashoda did not give her milk to him. Then he pulled down milk and butter stored aloft in pots held by lattice strings and distributed it and all other milk and curd available there amongst Lakshmana, Bharata, and Shatrugna. The cook complained to the mother, who laughed and rushed forward to catch the child. Seeing the mother coming towards them, all the children ran away. Kausalya ran behind them, but she slipped at every other step. At last, she caught hold of Sri Rama but did not say anything. At that moment, Sri Rama began weeping and sobbing like an ordinary child. Seeing them all frightened of her, she affectionately embraced and cares them. In this way, Sri Rama, who is the cause of happiness, is the bestower of joy, bliss, peace, and tranquility to the world, as well as is a treasury of root of all happiness, joy, and bliss, assumed an illusory form of a child and began to provide happiness and delight to the royal couple. Hence, after some time, the four brothers enter the period of adolescence. Then Guru Vashishta performed their sacred thread ceremony and initiated them into the Kshatriya Dharma and taught them so that the four brothers who had assumed the human form willingly out of their own delusionary powers and who are the lords of the entire universe became proficient in the knowledge and essence of all scriptures and became experts in the science and art of archery besides all other skills and knowledge. Out of the three brothers, Lakshmana dedicatedly and diligently followed Sri Rama, most reverentially like a loyal follows his lord with while Shatrughna was similarly always eager to serve Bharata. Every day Sri Rama, armed with a bow, arrow, and quiver, and accompanied by Lakshmana, would mount a horse each and go to the forest to slay wicked and cruel animals. And having hunted lions and tigers there, they would tell everything to their father. After raising up in the morning, he would bathe and bow his head before his parents, and then would take care of all the needs of the citizens of the kingdom. Then he would take his meals along with his brothers, hear discourses of various scriptures from sages and seers, and discuss or explain them himself. In this manner, the Supreme Lord, or the Supreme Soul, the Paramatma, was faultless, beyond reproach, and without any resultant consequences, leading to an imperfect end, took an incarnation, that is, revealed himself in the form of a human and acted in accordance with his assumed form to do and fulfill all that was to be done or fulfilled. But on deeper thought, we find that he does nothing. The Supreme Soul or Lord is totally unconcerned with or detached from this illusory image of a human. So, with this, we come to the end of the third chapter of the Baala Kanda. So, thank you so much for joining. See you all for the next session. Panchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyeva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavibhyo namo namaha. Randra Adhyatma Ramayana ki jai, Vyas ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nataka Premanandi Hari Hari. Hare Krishna.